The left has been foaming at the mouth ever since Donald Trump was elected President of the United States. These anti-American traitors were convinced that Hillary Clinton would win and continue Barack Obama's destructive policies of dismantling America. However, those plans were thwarted when the American people banded together and sent a ringing no to these politicians by voting for Trump. Every step that Trump has taken, he has faced ridicule, lies, and hate from the tolerant left. These lies have ranged from Trump conspiring with Russia to win the election to him being a racist bigot who desires to send all minorities to FEMA camps. Because of these lies, Trump has done his best to surround himself with people he can trust, but even those individuals have turned out to be wolves in sheep clothing, as we all found out just today. After the sudden dismissal of Omarosa Manigault-Newman, who served as the White House's Director of Communications for the White House Office of Public Liaison, people around the country were shocked. For years Omarosa Manigault-Newman was one of Donald Trump's biggest fans, but as it turns out, she is just another White House traitor biding her time to backstab her former mentor at the very first chance she had. Not even 24 hours after being let go, Omarosa Manigault-Newman was already sitting down with the liberal mouthpieces at Good Morning America to share her side of the story and throw President Trump under the bus. Here is more from People. Although Omarosa Manigault-Newman denies being fired from her role in President Donald Trump's administration, the former reality star alluded to situations in the White House that made her feel uncomfortable and upset, leading to her resignation. In a sit-down with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America Thursday, Manigault-Newman shot down reports that she was dramatically escorted out of the White House after being canned. Chief of Staff John Kelly and I had a very straightforward discussion about concerns that I had, issues that I had raised, and as a result, I resigned, and it will be taking place January 20th when I leave this very interesting administration, she said. Manigault-Newman explained that while Trump chose me for his team, Kelly may not have wanted her on his roster. At Omarosa, on her time at the White House with Trump administration, there were a lot of things that I observed during the last year that I was very unhappy with, that I was very uncomfortable with. pic.twitter.com/QSHE6Y4B, Good Morning America at GMA, December 14, 2017. However, the former Director of Communications for the White House Office of Public Liaison revealed that she was unhappy with the handling of certain situations. When Strahan asked about reports that she was displeased with the handling of this year's Charlottesville riots and Trump's support of Roy Moore in the race for Alabama senator, she was vague but promised to share her thoughts someday. Because I am serving until Jan. 20th, I have to be very careful about how I answer this, she said. But there were a lot of things that I observed during the last year that I was very unhappy with. That I was very uncomfortable with. Things that I heard and observed. I can't expand upon it because I still have to go back and work with these individuals. Manigault-Newman continued, when I have a chance to tell my story, quite a story to tell, as the only African-American woman in this White House, as a senior staff and assistant to the president. I have seen things that made me uncomfortable, that have upset me, that have affected me deeply and emotionally, that has affected my community and my people. When I can tell my story, it is a profound story that I know the world will want to hear. Certainly I had more access than most, and people had problems with that, she said. People had problems with my 14-year relationship with his president, but I've always been loyal to him, straightforward, and I've provided him with the support he needed throughout this year. There is no reason that Omarosa Manigault-Newman needed to sit down right away with these liberals and start slinging dirt about Trump. It is obvious she is pissed over being fired and is desperately attempting to save face by starting rumors about President Trump to the main media. If she had any class and dignity, she would keep her mouth shut and just release a press statement saying she has decided to pursue other ventures. These vindictive individuals will do whatever they can to bring Trump down to save their own skin. We have no tolerance for comments containing violence, racism, vulgarity, profanity, all caps, or discourteous behavior. Thank you for partnering with us to maintain a courteous and useful public environment where we can engage in reasonable discourse. It's already too late for some kids. Each year we have that different toy that every kid wants and is sold out everywhere, but this year that toy might come with serious consequences. Although these accusations haven't been proven, a mother has taken to Facebook to warn fellow parents not to buy Hatchimals bath bombs products for their kids this Christmas season after her young daughter was left with what appears to be first-degree chemical burns all over her body. Jennifer Renee, who lives in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, posted what appears to be very disturbing pictures of her daughter Willow's painful-looking injuries on Facebook last week. The pictures were of her daughter's distressing chemical burn injuries after using the Hatchimals bath bomb toy. She went on to claim her child sat in the bath for what was only 30 to 45 seconds when her skin became inflamed, red, and painful to the touch. The mother later confirmed on her Facebook page that her daughter Willow had been diagnosed as having suffered a chemical burn and not an allergic reaction as she previously had suspected. She then proceeded to call the company who produces this product, Spin Master, and later revealed that the batch number is being investigated and will likely be recalled because of previous complaints. The Global Brands Group, the Hatchimals distributor, also provided a statement after reviewing the case. Global Brands Group takes the safety of our products very seriously. We manufacture and ship millions of bath bombs and body washes, and have rigorous processes in place around development and testing, as well as all aspects of production. After careful review, we are confident our Hatchimals bath products are, in fact, safe. However, it is recommended that consumers be mindful of any adverse reactions they may have based on personal allergies or sensitivities. The Spin Master representative who emailed us alleges that Jennifer Renee's statement that an FDA expert responded to her specific accusations in the photo posted by her on Facebook is false, and that the photographed statement is unclear and possibly taken out of context. We have reached out to the FDA consumer officer and will update this story as we learn more. Kids aren't looking for a fancy claw-footed bathtub with bubbles that are perfectly fluffed just so for the gram. They're just in there to get clean and get out. But many parents avoid potential temper tantrums around bath time by filling the water with washable soap crayons and fizzy balls of soaps that turn into toys. Sadly, it's not always suds and smiles, as we learned from one mother who just issued a warning against a bath toy that allegedly gave her daughter a serious chemical burn. In the case of Jennifer Renee and her daughter Willow, it was a Hatchimal that took bath time from fun to frightening. The wonder ball of bath bombs, a Hatchimal, like hatching animals, looks like a giant egg, and it that dissolves on contact with water, hatching, to reveal a mystery surprise, usually a plastic animal charmer figurine. Although, for Jennifer and Willow, the real surprise in the Hatchimal was burning pain. Thursday, Jennifer posted her cautionary story on Facebook claiming that she dropped a Hatchimal soap toy into Willow's bath, and less than a minute after touching the water, Willow suffered red chemical burns all over her skin. PSA. Do not buy this for your children, she wrote next to the split image of the Hatchimal product box and Willow's burned hand. Followed directions on package and placed in her bathtub. Jennifer's post continued. Thought it would be fun for her because there was a toy inside. After being in the water 30 to 45 seconds, she stated her skin was hurting. Upon looking, she has received a chemical burn from a kid's bath bomb. No, she was not holding it, and she has used multiple different kinds of bath bombs and never had this reaction, just a warning people. After taking Willow to see a doctor to assess their reaction, Jennifer updated her post, explaining that the doctor ruled the irritation a chemical burn, more than just a simple adverse skin reaction. A chemical burn, as dermatologist Josh Zeichner explains it to us, is a general term that refers to an allergic irritation reaction in the skin. The common causes of the skin allergies of this type include certain fragrances, preservatives, and dyes. And in the case of the burning Hatchimal, Julie M. Barrows, a consumer safety officer from the Office of Cosmetics and Colors sector of the FDA, allegedly responded to Jennifer's post, saying Willow's reaction was likely caused by the D33 dye. She reportedly explained in her note to Jennifer that the red dye is categorized as suitable for externally applied cosmetics, think lipstick, but it may not be used for bath products. I am not saying this woman is a liar. But if there were previous complaints, wouldn't you think this wouldn't be the first time we would have heard about this? I very much doubt Spin Master, who has a spotless safety record and produces millions of these products, would have kept quiet all this time and risk multiple lawsuits instead of immediately recalling the product before more children were affected by whatever is in these toys that are causing the burns. Please share if you want to get to the bottom of this issue. America's criminal justice system is a finely tuned machine with one purpose: justice for all. While good old-fashioned detective work, canvassing, questioning, and sometimes a gut instinct will never be replaced during investigations into criminal activity, the fastest evolving part of an investigation is the forensic science. As citizens of this great nation, we are constantly in search of a way to make sure that no innocent person is punished and no guilty person gets off scot-free. However, the more sadistic and creative the criminals get, the more tedious and meticulous those who try to catch them might be. While this looks like a few trips to a computer on TV shows, the reality is that forensic science is a dirty business and one that most of us don't completely understand. In order to determine things like how long a person has been dead, scientists and investigators need to actually observe a body decompose in a controlled environment, and that's just as happening at a body farm in Texas. Daily Mail reports that the bodies are exposed to the elements and covered with cages to keep scavengers off them, and while it's for a good cause, it's truly horrific to see. These gruesome images show the inside of a body farm, a graveyard where the dead are left to rot in open cages. Rows upon row of dead bodies are lined up in the metal pens in the remote Texan field as part of scientific research into how corpses rot. In fact, despite its grisly appearance, the so-called body farms actually help police solve crimes by helping to determine when victims were killed. Scientists at the Forensic Anthropology Center at Texas State University are able to use the donated dead bodies and compare them to those killed in suspicious circumstances. The information gathered here can be used in a court of law, and researchers have been called to give evidence for the prosecution and defense. The bodies can also be used to help with facial reconstruction. By using the skulls and images of those who volunteer for the open burial, scientists can help police to reconstruct what an actual victim may have looked like. They often have worked in law enforcement, so know how useful the facilities are. Decomposition expert Dr. Danny Westcott told CBS Austin. Just like a person can choose to be an organ donor, someone can also donate their body to science after they pass on. This is just one of the possibilities for what could be done with someone who makes that donation. It's far from a pleasant sight to see, however, the work is one of those unpleasant necessities to keep crime down. Without endeavors like this one, the forensic departments would have no way of training their scientists to determine exact times of death, which markings on a body come from attacks and which come from scavengers, etc. That is important, not only in the sense that it helps bring justice for the families of those killed, but knowing that it's getting increasingly more difficult to get away with a crime, keeps crime down. Behavior will always depend on its consequences, and without an effective way to punish attackers, more attacks would happen. Dr. Danny Westcott has spent a number of years leading the research of skeletons at the U.S. University. He said, "It allows us to see how bodies decompose. We work with law enforcement officials and help with the training of local police cadets. We get bodies given to us specifically to use. Living donors offer their bodies as donations. We also take next of kin donation. We have 2 criteria for the bodies: they must be under 500 pounds when they die, and they must not have any active infectious diseases like hepatitis C. We also accept cremains. It then gets assigned to a research project. The bodies can be left out in the field for 6 months to a couple of years. The skeleton is then used for further research. In fact, most of the research is done on skeletons. To be a part of the body farm, most people volunteer before their death, although some are donated by next of kin. Police then observe how different factors influence the way the bodies decompose. Law enforcement provides different scenarios, and we look at the effects of clothing and things like diabetes on the body," Dr. Westcott said. "It allows us to give estimations on death to the police. We can also help with facial reconstruction. Because we know what the person looked like before they died, we can compare this with what those who draw the facial reconstruction images have come up with. We also look at the ecology side, and how it impacts specifically on insects. We have scientists here from the UK because there is a demand for it. The bodies have to be caged to protect them from vultures, which are rife in Texas. At the moment we have between 65 and 70 bodies. There are more men than women, but we also get some couples who donate their bodies," Dr. Westcott said. "This might not be the kind of place that you want to go on a family vacation, but it might just be what keeps the streets a little safer wherever you do take your vacation." Like many of the aspects of law enforcement, this isn't a particularly pleasant task, but one that has to be done if we are going to try to keep our nation safe. HT Daily Mail. First Lady Melania Trump has been exceptionally busy during her first Christmas season in the White House. Despite all the festivities and responsibilities she has in her new role, she kept herself even busier with spreading compassion to the hundreds of victims of this year's natural disasters. Now that she's back in Washington, D.C., she's settling back into her festive routine for the rest of December when a photo was snapped of her and President Trump. While the shot looks stunning as ever, there's something unexpected that the camera caught. Now the secret is out, and the First Lady is bracing herself for the inevitable attacks. There is absolutely nothing this incredible presidential pair can do without coming under an onslaught of scrutiny from their detractors. The couple's first White House Christmas picture was no exception. Everyone immediately noticed something wrong with it as soon as the official portrait was revealed. Now there's no more hiding it, and there's nothing wrong with that either. However, leave it to hateful, anti-Christmas liberals to turn the image issue into major allegations against the Trumps. Opposing Views reports, President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have revealed their official Christmas card for 2017. The First Lady debuted the card on Twitter on December 14, reports Empty World. In the caption accompanying the Trump's Christmas card photo, the First Lady tweeted, "Merry Christmas from President Donald J. Trump and First Lady Melania via email protected." Rather than realizing that this was a shot that was supposed to be just of the President and First Lady, people began to react to the fact that their youngest son Barron wasn't in the photo greeting. "This Christmas Barron Trump is home alone," one commenter said, cleverly making reference to the popular 1990 of the same name. As the remarks and question of the boy's absence came pouring in, the next plausible step for internet sleuths was to start a hashtag for it, since that's what they do. The hashtag, "Where's Barron?" almost immediately made an appearance. For the photo, the First Lady wore a sleeveless, long, black dress, with pointed black stilettos, while the President wore a black tuxedo with a matching bow tie. Opposing Views pointed out of our stunning first couple. They're seen smiling, hand in hand, standing in front of the White House double doors, with 2 Christmas trees on either side, each of which is covered in fake snow. The couple is certainly used to the criticism at this point, since it's been a solid year of such ridiculous attacks that have no sign of slowing in the new year. They probably realize that they are damned if you do and damned if you don't, with including Barron in the picture, since the criticism then would have been why they didn't have the rest of Trump's children in the shot. Chances are, they decided to just keep it simple. Opposing Views has more. Prior to unveiling the photo, the White House debuted a video of Melania Trump getting the property ready for the holidays, decorating the trees, preparing wreaths, and supervising the baking of cookies. Stephanie Grisham, Director of Communications for the First Lady's office, confirmed via tweet that a huge gingerbread house was also prepared, constructed from 300 pounds of dough, reports Time. Also on display are former President Ronald Reagan's china and former President Franklin D. Roosevelt's 1866 edition of A Christmas Carol. More details on the decorations are provided by the Daily Beast, which reports that also on display are 71 wreaths, 53 Christmas trees, more than 18,000 lights, more than 12,000 ornaments, over 3,100 yards of ribbon, and more than 1,000 feet of garland. The Daily Beast's Tim Tiemann thought it was overkill, however, and declared it the creepiest home space in America, comparing it to scenery from a Tim Burton and recommending that the First Lady keep the Christmas decorations up for next Halloween. In addition to the card and video, Melania Trump also issued an official Christmas statement, reports Time. "The President, Barron, and I are very excited for our first Christmas in the White House," she said. "As with many families across the country, holiday traditions are very important to us. I hope when visiting the People's House this year, visitors will get a sense of being home for the holidays." The root of the issue is probably jealousy that the Trumps are in the White House and Hillary Clinton is not on this Christmas card, as she and all of her supporters expected to see before her major loss in the presidential elections. "We have a lot of reasons to celebrate this season, and the 2 people in this picture have a lot to do with that.